This is your wedding day. It's the day you've been dreaming of all your life.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top celebrities whose wedding looks made a lasting impression.
It was very much a collaboration, pooling wonderful creative and craftsmanship talents alive in Britain today.
Number 30, Jennifer Lopez.
What is going on?
I am measuring you for your wedding dress.
After starring in several iconic marriage rom-coms, as well as having quite a few ceremonies herself, the fashion stakes were high for J.Lo and Ben Affleck's 2022 nuptials. In typical pop star fashion, J.Lo delivered. Because the pair eloped last minute, the actress wore a dress she'd had sitting around from years of wedding-related press tours. Lopez then quick-changed at the Vegas chapel into a beautiful off-the-shoulder lace gown. When it came to their official ceremony with the couple's friends and family in attendance, the stars stunned in 3 custom Ralph Lauren gowns, each more breathtaking than the last. Number 29, Beanie Feldstein. Everything about this actress's wedding was perfectly personal. After meeting Bonnie Chance Roberts while working on How to Build a Girl, the couple knew they'd found the one after their very first kiss.
I just love her so much, Seth. She's just the best thing to ever happen to me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Their wedding was summer camp themed, a tribute to Feldstein's parents and grandparents all meeting their future spouses at the seasonal program. She's even called camp her family's lineage of love, so it seemed only natural to weave those moments into the special day. Surrounded by nature, celebrity guests, and s'mores, the pair donned their coordinated Gucci looks. With delicate lace and sparkling accents, Feldstein's dress is a fun balance of vintage class and modern styling. Number 28, Lily Collins. When it comes to celebrity unions, we normally expect big displays of glitz and glamour. Actress Lily Collins went in another direction entirely and chose to marry director Charlie McDowell at a deserted, restored mining town in Colorado. Surrounded by natural landscapes, the bride's intricate dress was truly the star of the show. The long-sleeve custom Ralph Lauren gown was the picture of elegance, but the unique hooded veil put it over the top. In their photos, the waterfall backdrop mimics the cascading layers of lace, beautifully capturing the fairy tale feeling of it all.
I just really wanted something that felt British Victorian as well as Western Americana, and Ralph Lauren is the epitome of mountain chic and old school drama, and I just loved it so much.
Number 27, Anne Hathaway.
Isn't she a bridal beauty?
She sure is. Oh my gosh.
Anne Hathaway is another actress who had already worn a white dress and veil for a movie role. But in 2012, she surprised everyone with her own one-of-a-kind wedding look. She and groom Adam Schulman opted to keep things pretty private, so the initial glimpses of the big dress all came from fuzzy paparazzi photos. Later, the official images revealed whimsical touches of blush pink, lots of tulle, and a vintage-style headpiece. While the custom Valentino gown wasn't everyone's cup of tea, the romantic design is exactly what Hathaway said she'd, quote, always wanted. Number 26, Gwen Stefani. When it comes to unforgettable wedding gowns, this John Galliano and Christian Dior work of art might just take the cake. When Gwen Stefani got hitched to Gavin Rossdale, her white and hot pink dip-dyed skirt was a mega rock star moment. The dress became so iconic that she later donated it to a London museum so that everyone could enjoy the masterpiece. In her more recent wedding to Blake Shelton, Gwen once again made a statement, only this time in more subtle fashion. She wore 2 custom Vera Wang dresses, each with embroidery that endearingly referenced her family.
Looking in your eyes now, if I had to die now, I don't wanna love nobody but you.
Number 25, Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood and Richard Wagner actually married twice, once in 1957 and again in 1972. Their first wedding took place with paper over church windows to keep hundreds of gathered fans from prying. Wood was the perfect picture of a graceful young movie star in a dress with a classy silhouette, long gloves, and an accompanying hooded lace bolero. The actress would later admit that their early relationship felt more like a movie script than real life, where the two couldn't yet be completely themselves around each other.
We were with a group who decided that we should be dressy, because it was so festive.
How do you decide what to wear to Thanksgiving?
Sir Lawrence tells us.
When it came to the couple's 70s reprise, Wood seemed to mark the shift to a more profound connection by opting for a more casual rendition and clothing choice. Number 24, Julie Andrews.
Is there anyone I should go to ask permission to marry you?
Well, why don't we ask
The children?
One spring day in Weybridge, England, Large crowds gathered on the lawn of St. Mary's Oatlands and traffic was jammed for miles. Julie Andrews and Tony Walton had become a public phenomenon, and everyone wanted to catch a glimpse of the couple on their wedding day. Finally, the bride emerged in a gorgeous dress designed by the groom himself. Even with all of the reporters and crowds, the actress was the picture of grace. With a high neck, sheer long sleeves, and floral accents, the custom organza gown suited her charming nature wonderfully. Number 23. Bianca Jagger. Less than a year after meeting Mick and already 4 months pregnant, Bianca became Mrs. Jagger.
It should have been a simple civil marriage with 5 guests. Instead, there was a crowd which included 100 cameramen and reporters.
Though no one was expecting tidy tradition from a rock star's nuptials, his bride took unconventionality to the next level. Bianca cemented her place in fashion history with a bold Yves Saint Laurent wedding suit. Everything from her low-cut jacket to her large hat made waves. Her look has since stood the test of time, and has even gone on to inspire bridal suits of all kinds, including some worn by your favorite celebrities. Number 22. Sofia Richie.
I always had this vision of like the big princess dress and going big, but as I got older, I realized that I wanted something a bit more simple. Maybe simple is the wrong word, because my dress is definitely not simple.
In the spring of 2023, Sophia's upcoming marriage to Elliot Grange had everyone talking. And when the time came for the star-studded event, the luxurious wedding ceremony went above and beyond. Set against a gorgeous backdrop in the south of France, the model wore not just 1, but 3 custom Chanel pieces. A high-neck dress with cascading beads for the rehearsal was followed by an incredible scalloped halter gown for the ceremony. Richie then changed into a mini dress inspired by Claudia Schiffer in order to end the night to remember on a more comfortable note. Number 21. Anya Taylor-Joy. Taylor-Joy took the world by surprise when she made a post celebrating her and her husband Malcolm McRae's 2nd wedding anniversary. While the world thought they tied the knot in Venice 1 year prior, it turned out they'd actually secretly gotten hitched in New Orleans the year before.
We did our research. We were like pretty spy orientated, but honestly it kind of made it all the more special because it just felt like a secret that we got to keep to ourselves.
The dress is definitely non-traditional, but it suits both the bride and the Southern Gothic setting perfectly. With hummingbirds and sparkling beadwork, it's all brought together by a gauzy white veil. Both princess-like and vampy, the unique gown doesn't sacrifice a drop of elegance, making it a true expression of the star's creativity and style. Number 20. Portia de Rossi. Portia de Rossi and Ellen DeGeneres are one of the most famous couples in the world, but their 2008 wedding was a small affair with only 19 guests.
You look beautiful.
Oh my God.
Those who received an invite got a first-hand look at one of designer Zac Posen's most graceful creations. De Rossi graced their Beverly Hills mansion with a backless halter-neck dress with a deep V-neck.
That dress is just, it took 3 weeks for him to make, and then 10 weeks of work for me to pay for. And then...
Whereas the bodice was white, the dress's lower half possessed subtle shades of dusky pink, which gave the gown ballerina overtones. The dress complemented the pink diamond engagement ring that de Rossi received from DeGeneres. While this wedding was significant for a variety of reasons, de Rossi's dress further cemented its legacy. Number 19. Cindy Crawford. One of the most iconic models in the world, Crawford looks ravishing whether she's walking down the runway in a designer dress or drinking a Pepsi in casual attire. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that Crawford lit up the Bahamas when she married Randy Gerber in 1998. With a laid-back backdrop, Crawford kept things casual in an off-the-rack John Galliano slip dress. Walking onto the beach barefoot, her simple yet stylish look perfectly reflected the relaxed wedding that Crawford wanted. Discussing the wedding with People Style years later, Crawford said that she, quote, probably would do the same thing again. Crawford reflected in her 2015 book Becoming, quote, I wanted to look like the best version of the girl Randy loves waking up to every morning.
I think it's about being happy. To all of those questions, really, it's like, you know, with yourself, with your work, with your family, and that shows on your face.
Number 18. Celine Dion. From The Power of Love to My Heart Will Go On, Dion is the voice behind some of the most romantic songs ever written. Likewise, her 1994 wedding with manager René Angelou was a lovely affair held in private at Montreal's Notre Dame Basilica. Dion dazzled with one of the boldest ensembles on our list. Instead of a traditional veil, Dion's look was distinguished by a 7-pound headpiece composed of 2,000 Swarovski crystals. The gown by Mirella and Steve Gentile was just as entrancing, with a 20-foot train. More than 1,000 hours reportedly went into the look, and the effort clearly shows in the striking final product. Number 17. Mia Farrow. Getting hitched at Vegas' Sands Hotel in 1966, Mia Farrow's marriage with Frank Sinatra ended 2 years later around the same time that she was starring in Rosemary's Baby. Although the marriage wasn't meant to be, the two remained friends, and Farrow's wedding look would leave a strong impression. Foregoing the formal dress, Farrow wore a white two-piece suit with a cropped jacket, a short skirt, and a bow tying it all together.
What's that?
I've been to Vidal Sassoon.
Just as her hair was cut short for the occasion, the ceremony only lasted about 15 minutes. While far from the most extravagant outfit on our list, Farrow's ensemble epitomized the modern woman of the 1960s. Few beauties can pull off minimalist fashion as flawlessly as Farrow. Number 16. Samira Wiley and Lauren Morelli. We all recognize actress Samira Wiley from Orange is the New Black, but you might not have known that Lauren Morelli served as one of the show's writers and producers. The two met while working on the hit Netflix series. When they tied the knot in Palm Springs 5 years later, Wiley and Morelli asked their friend Christian Siriano to lend his fashion expertise.
Well, I've known Christian for a while. We worked together. So I knew when we were getting married that we both knew that we wanted to work with him.
Although they shared a designer in common, both brides stood out with unique looks. Wiley wore a captivating off-the-shoulder gown, while Morelli donned a white jumpsuit with a cape and laced bodice. The outfits managed to be distinctive while also going together perfectly. Something similar can be said about the happy couple.
Lauren knew she wanted a jumpsuit, and she knew a few details that she wanted, but Christian really went from there.
Number 15. Salma Hayek Pinault.
They're busy with the wedding. Christina is so excited about her dress.
Good. Everyone should be excited when they get married.
Receiving an Oscar nomination for portraying Frida Kahlo, Salma Hayek married French billionaire François-Henri Pinault in 2009. The couple exchanged vows secretly in Paris on Valentine's Day, only inviting about 150 friends and family members. The two went all out for another ceremony in Venice 2 months later. Although this $3.5 million event attracted big names like Bono and Penelope Cruz, all eyes were on Hayek in her Balenciaga dress. Designed by Nicolas Guéquière, the gown was right out of a fairy tale with a white skirt and radiant top. Hayek rounded out the look with gorgeous earrings, an orchid and stephanotis bouquet, and a veil covering her updo. The dress reportedly cost over $500,000, but Hayek made it look priceless. Number 14. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. Narciso Rodriguez is well known in the fashion community today, but he was just starting to make a name for himself in the late 90s. While working at Calvin Klein, he met publicist Carolyn Bessette. The two formed a close friendship, and when Bessette got engaged to John F. Kennedy Jr., Rodriguez was entrusted to secretly design her wedding dress.
I made that wedding dress with so much love for the person that I loved most in the whole world, and I never viewed it as a press event or...
Just as this silk crepe dress was made in secret, the ceremony was a private gathering on a remote island.
Alan and I owe all of you a great debt of gratitude.
Nevertheless, the gown put Rodriguez on the map.
And I went from being a very kind of private person to being a very public person overnight.
Much like her mother-in-law, who we'll get to later, Bessette was the epitome of class. She couldn't have looked more elegant in a sleek gown that's perfectly tailored for a low-key yet formal event. Number 13. Alicia Keys. With another private wedding that took place on an island, singer Alicia Keys and record producer/rapper Swizz Beatz made some beautiful music together in 2010. Keys was only a few months away from giving birth to their first child together, and her Vera Wang dress brought out a divine pregnancy glow. With an adorned headband complementing her ivory one-shouldered gown, Keys sent off the powerful vibes of a Greek goddess. Keys paired the Grecian look with a bouquet of calla lilies, while the Mediterranean Sea provided a breathtaking backdrop. Number 12. Kate Moss. During the 90s, Kate Moss developed into one of the most esteemed models in the business. She married English guitarist Jamie Hintz in 2011, but designer John Galliano drew inspiration from the 20s and 30s for Moss's big day. The lace cap veil in particular was pure 1920s, and Moss brought out its timeless appeal.
When I put the dress on, I'm really happy that I forget about everything.
Really?
It all goes away.
The silk dress, meanwhile, was embellished with gold sequins and sheer panels. The highlight of the ensemble was Moss's train with its glistening pattern. The vintage dress was reportedly inspired by Zelda Fitzgerald. which is fitting since Moss's diamond engagement ring was also based on the famed novelists. It's an ensemble that truly takes us back in time. Number 11, Dita Von Teese. When the bride is the queen of burlesque, the groom is Marilyn Manson, and the ceremony is officiated by avant-garde filmmaker Alejandro Jodorowsky, it's only natural that all usual conventions would be thrown out the window. As such, Dita Von Teese donned a violet Vivienne Westwood gown for the occasion. The ensemble was rounded out with a Stephen Jones hat, Christian Louboutin shoes, a Mr. Pearl corset, and a Nina Ricci peignoir. This silk taffeta dress wouldn't look out of place in a Tim Burton movie or a gothic music video. It might have been out of the norm, but we wouldn't expect anything less from Von Teese.
You can't dictate to a woman what should make her feel sexy, and it's like, if I feel sexy in black stockings and garter belts, then that's what it is for me.
Number 10, Miranda Kerr. In 2015, this former Victoria's Secret angel entered into a relationship with Snap co-founder/CEO Evan Spiegel. 2 years later, they were wed in a quaint ceremony at home with about 45 guests. Kerr has always looked up to 3 fashion idols: her grandmother, Audrey Hepburn, and Grace Kelly. Kelly's 1956 wedding dress, which we might encounter later, served as the primary inspiration for Kerr's ensemble.
Grace Kelly was a real inspiration with her dress and how timeless it is.
To realize this vision, she turned to designer Maria Grazia Chiuri, who had recently become Dior's artistic director. Kerr channeled Kelly in a satin dress, but with a few modern updates like a crew neck and flowery train. The Australian model wanted a dress right out of a fairy tale, and she couldn't have looked more like a princess. Number 9, Priyanka Chopra. Ever since she was crowned Miss World 2000, this Indian actress has risen up as a beauty icon, as well as one of the most influential individuals alive. Being synonymous with style, Chopra didn't limit herself to one look when she tied the knot with Nick Jonas.
How many ceremonies did you have?
Well, it was just 3 days. One Indian ceremony and one Western Christian ceremony, and 1 day of pre-rituals, which we have in the Hindu wedding.
She wore a variety of elegant outfits for pre-wedding events, but Chopra donned a custom Ralph Lauren gown for the ceremony, complete with over 2 million mother-of-pearl sequins and a 75-foot veil. It was the first wedding dress that Lauren himself devised for someone who wasn't a family member. Chopra wasn't done stunning, as she wore a shimmering silver lehenga by Falguni Shane Peacock for the wedding reception at the Taj Umaid Pavan Palace. Number 8, Ciara. Ciara's middle name is Princess, and she definitely sent out royal vibes on her wedding day.
Love bears all things. Love believes all things.
The fact that she married quarterback Russell Wilson at Peckforton Castle only added to the fairy tale ambiance. It was the singer's dress, however, that really made this wedding magical. Designed by Peter Dundas, Roberta Cavalli's creative director at the time, the gown blossomed with sheer lace bell sleeves and a lace-up bodice. On the back of the dress's lengthy train, you'll find the couple's initials monogrammed into the fabric. Ciara would later express her gratitude for Dundas on Instagram, writing, quote, "I just want to take this moment to say thank you for being a part, making this day perfect for me, and bringing my dream dress to life." Number 7, Jacqueline Kennedy. Few first ladies in U.S. history inspired more iconic looks than Jacqueline Kennedy.
Jackie had a certain sense of order and her own set of standards for furniture, food, fashion, and aesthetics.
As you can imagine, Mrs. Kennedy's wedding dress lived up to her fashionable legacy, although she nearly endured a fashion disaster. Designed by Anne Lowe, one would assume that this silk taffeta masterpiece would have been perfected months in advance. In reality, the bride's original dress was ruined 10 days before the wedding when Lowe's studio flooded. With some extra help, Lowe recreated the gown and several other dresses that had been destroyed in time for the social gathering of the year. Despite overcoming this nightmare scenario, Lowe lost $2,200, and it wouldn't be until after her death that she received proper recognition for this illustrious wedding dress. Number 6, Amal Clooney. We never thought we'd see the day, but George Clooney went off the market in 2014 when he settled down with human rights lawyer Amal Alamuddin. Despite his former reputation as the world's most eligible bachelor, it's been humorously argued that Clooney married someone out of his league. Amal Clooney is among the most accomplished individuals on the planet, not to mention one of the most fashionable. Nowhere was this more apparent than on their star-studded wedding day, where the bride donned an enchanting gown by Oscar de la Renta.
I know that they both collaborated very closely on what she wanted and her design preferences, so he had some ideas as to what might work within her choices.
Above all else, the beaded tulle dress is distinguished by the 14 yards of Chantilly lace, which stretch from the off-the-shoulder top to the dramatic train. It's a dress every bit as exquisite as the bride. Number 5. Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge. Although we also envy Pippa Middleton's dress with a passion, her big sister's wedding day was one of the most talked about events of 2011. Kate Middleton's Alexander McQueen gown in particular was a key talking point. Designed by Sarah Burton, the dress was shrouded in mystery leading up to the royal wedding. It wasn't until Middleton drove up to Westminster Abbey that the world finally got to lay eyes on the gown, which more than lived up to the hype. Middleton reportedly wanted a dress that was both traditional and modern. The lace and satin gown captured this to a T, with long sleeves and a silk veil. She rounded out the look with the Cartier halo tiara, which the Queen herself lent to Middleton. Number 4. Elizabeth Taylor. Married 8 times, this fashion icon had no shortage of wedding dresses to choose from, but there was honestly no competition.
You're wonderful, kiddo. Just wonderful.
Taylor's finest bridal gown will always be her first one. The actress was 18 when she tied the knot with hotel heir Conrad Nicky Hilton Jr. in 1950. Taylor's natural beauty was only amplified by the pearl-encrusted dress, which was devised by costume designer Helen Rose. Going on to win 2 Oscars, Rose also worked on multiple films starring Taylor, including Father of the Bride.
Hold it, Pops.
As a matter of fact, Taylor wore a similar-looking dress in that classic film, which premiered just a few weeks later. It's no wonder Taylor's real-life dress sold for almost $188,000 US in 2013. Number 3. Audrey Hepburn. From Roman Holiday to Breakfast at Tiffany's, it's hard to think of an actress who's given us more iconic looks than Audrey Hepburn. Of course, her exquisite taste wasn't limited to the silver screen.
Oh, mais quelle mariée charmante! On ne m'avait pas dit qu'il y aurait un mariage aujourd'hui. Mais entrez!
Afraid you got us wrong, Padre. We're not here to be married.
Such a beautiful bride.
This is not my dress.
Before becoming a bona fide movie star, Hepburn married fellow performer Mel Ferrer in 1954. Like Holly Golightly, Hepburn sported elbow-length gloves for the occasion. Instead of a black cocktail dress, however, she wore a formal white gown consisting of ball gown sleeves and a high neck. Topping the look off with a floral crown, Audrey was a princess for a day. Hepburn had 2 other wedding dresses made during her lifetime, one of which she never got to wear down the aisle. But it's hard to top this triumph from Pierre Balmain. Number 2. Diana, Princess of Wales. Anyone who watched season 4 of The Crown was reminded why they were so obsessed with Princess Diana's wardrobe back in the 80s and 90s.
As husband and wife live out their vows, loving and cherishing one another, sharing life's splendors and miseries, achievements and setbacks, they will be transformed in the process.
For many of us, that obsession started on July 29, 1981, when she married Charles, Prince of Wales. Like Kate Middleton's dress, measures were taken to keep Diana's gown under wraps, which had anticipation at an all-time high. With a train that stretched 25 feet and great puffy sleeves, we're still entranced by her silk taffeta and antique lace dress. According to designers David and Elizabeth Emanuel, the dress needed to be, quote, suitably dramatic in order to make an impression. Indeed, the dress is dramatic in all the right ways, and its impression is still felt almost 40 years later. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Grace Kelly. This list has been largely comprised of Hollywood royalty and actual royalty. Grace Kelly is one of the few individuals who falls under both categories. Shortly after winning the Academy Award for Best Actress, Kelly left Hollywood to marry Prince Rainier III. Kelly's wedding dress perfectly encompassed her evolution from silver screen star to Princess of Monaco. In another dress designed by Helen Rose, Kelly was draped in a bodice and 2 petticoats topped off with a veil and headdress. Rose wasn't the only MGM employee who refined this look, as stylist Virginia Darcy did Kelly's hair. Kelly's dress would help inspire a few other gowns on this list, which just goes to show its impact throughout the decades. It's simply a classic. Which of these gowns caught your attention? And are there any you would add to the list? Let us know in the comments below.
Oh my God, it is such magic.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.